The one piece of advice for athletes, people out there, is bet on yourself. But what does that mean? I think that means go try it.
Here's your job outline in these 8 sentences. This is what you're going to do every day. I promise you that you're going to enter this 6-month life cycle. Every 6 months, you'll be like, I need to look for a new job. I need to look for a new job.
Yeah.
I need to make more money. I need to do this. Just create it.
For me, I've realized that I need a physical push, and then I also need a mental push. How can I continue to push forward, and can you endure the journey of getting your ass beat by life over and over and over again? Because if you can, you're probably gonna find a light at the end of that tunnel. If you can't, then it's gonna be ugly.
And here's why I became unemployable, is because my standard of care and discipline became higher than theirs. So it made them uncomfortable.
Like, I have to do this or I will die.
And the biggest mistake I did was put my backbone into someone else. And when that person's not there anymore, it was like devastating.
Yeah.
So now I realize that you got to take care of yourself first.
The most stressful part of my entire life was that training camp and that OTAs, because I put so much stress and weight on my shoulders to make it work and not give myself a chance to not make it work. When that finally happened, it was just like I broke down, because I called my mom like, I made it.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the 1% Club podcast.
Look at this. I got the shirt on too. 1% better every day. There it is.
There we go. This is where we dive into stories, strategies, and mindsets of elite performers, athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders who embody the relentless pursuit of becoming 1% better every single day. Today, we got someone special on the mic, my brother, Austin Ekeler. For going undrafted out of Western Colorado to becoming one of NFL's most dynamic running backs, Austin built a career in betting on himself, outworking the competition, and creating impact beyond the field. He's an entrepreneur, a founder, a community builder, running everything from Fantasy Royale to Charity Draft, and on the newest one is Ekeler Capital. Love that.
Correct.
I'm in real estate. Austin's journey is one of pure resilience, execution, and vision, so let's get into it.
Let's do it, man.
Can you share a little bit of background about yourself, Austin?
Yeah, sure thing. So first of all, appreciate you having me on, man.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Is a deja vu from
it really is.
My first ever podcast with you.
Yeah. Look at you. Now you're the podcaster. I love it. The hosting it. So a little bit about myself. From a small town, right, in Colorado, Eaton, Colorado, and one stoplight town. And I grew up out in the ranch. I grew up in the country life, tough love kind of atmosphere, and it taught me to do a lot with a little. And it taught me to be thick-skinned and to really take on, the journey myself. I felt like in that tough love environment, I was ready to get to the next thing and get out of that environment. And that's exactly kind of how my journey started on my own. The day I graduated, threw my hat in the air, hugged my mom, and I left. I went to Western Colorado, where I played my college football, and started working out with the team. Got a job as a raft guide up in Colorado mountains, and I was paying my rent and working out with the team, just getting a head start, and kind of used that same momentum and that same relentless pursuit to go and be my own person, build my own path, to really start my freshman year, become freshman offensive player of the year. All the accolades kind of followed after that, going into sophomore all the way through senior year, and then I thought it was gonna be my brain that got me my next opportunity. I was just in pursuit of all these opportunities, and my coach came to me my junior year. I didn't even watch the NFL. He comes to me and says, "Hey, Austin, you got some scouts that are looking at you." And to me, that was pretty taboo, because I had never seen a scout on campus before. I was the only, and still am the only person from Western Colorado to go to the NFL.
Wow.
So
through all these years?
All these years.
That's incredible, man.
Well, the school is tiny. It's like 2,500 students for the whole college. So it's a really small town. Most people go there for like outdoor rec, snowboarding, hiking, hunting, fishing, stuff like that, which I was into that. But yeah, football really wasn't my biggest kind of pursuit of the opportunity. I had an internship with the oil and gas company. I was going to go into oil and gas, kind of on the contract side between the companies and private landowners. And so that was number one. Had a job offer there. And then after my senior year, I had scouts, come to me pretty much every practice. And then that journey kind of took me to, let me look at this NFL opportunity, and then, kind of built on that. And again, just that relentless pursuit continued to build with me. And then you mentioned, kind of my off the field stuff. My entrepreneurial spirit never left me. I've been continuing to build. That's where I feel the most passion. I think for me, I've realized that I need a physical push, and then I also need a mental push. And I'll end with this, kind of get into my NFL career. The mental and the physical were there together, like me trying to figure out how the NFL works, trying to figure out the routine, coaches, things like that. And the physical is obviously there. It's a physical sport. But as I continued to get more comfortable and more routine based, the mental started to kind of become more easy. It became easier, it became more routine.
Yes.
I learned how to be more efficient with it. And so I had a hunger, I had that spark come back of like, okay, what else can I put my mind to? And that's when I started building the real estate empire. That's when I started building these community type of projects. And that's continued on now to this day at year 9.
I love that, man. Seriously, that's something I always looked up to you for. And then I always, when I talk about you, I'm like, he's a real entrepreneur on and off the field, in any circumstance. And I think that that's really important, as I always say, for a pro athlete, is to make an identity for yourself off the field as well. Not just for business, but really for your own mental health. Is very important. So when you have to go through adversity, or if you have to stop playing football, whatever the case may be, is you don't feel like, holy shit, man, what am I going to do with my life? I'm no one now. Like, and I think that that's really important.
I think I want to speak on that a little bit, because it's super important, and especially for just anybody. I think it's more important to root your identity and your values than in some type of tangible, job or thing, because if you root yourself in, I'm relentless, I overcome, I push forward, here's examples of that. Those examples are examples. Those aren't you. You are rooted in your values. And so I think that's super important, especially for young athletes, because we get into this place where we do football for so long, or you do your job for so long, you think that is your identity. No, that is the example. That is you expressing your identity. Your identity is being able to do hard shit for a long period of time and sustain it and push through.
Yes.
That's your identity, and you can apply that to other things. You might want to do that with football at the moment, but that's going to carry you the rest of your life as well. So well said about that.
I think myself and a lot of other people, we love your the daily mantras, as you always say. I always look forward to them. So,
Heck yeah, man.
People do look at that
right.
stuff.
I appreciate it.
So a lot of athletes talk about hard work, but few execute it like you do. What's your personal definition of discipline, and how has that carried you from a Division II athlete to one of the most versatile playmakers in the league?
Yeah, I think for myself, it's been practicing immersing myself in my opportunities. Like that is what it is for me. And it's not easy to do. I've realized that as I've met more and more people. There's a lot of different distractions in there. It takes, I think, a certain type of mindset and a sustained period of hyper focus to be able to actually feel like you want to immerse yourself into it and sustain that for a long time. Now, after doing it for decades, that's what I do. Like, I have projects, that is what I'm doing at the time. That's everything. That's all of my energy. I'm working out. I'm still thinking about Fantasy Royale. I'm thinking about my recovery. Like those, I have 2 things on my mind right now. Right, for example, my recovery and Fantasy Royale. Like those are my 2 projects. And if I'm going through my day, I'm thinking about those, and it's been pursuing those with my team or myself and trying to push those forward. And so, for young athletes coming in, being able to set that routine of how you get into that is extremely important. But then what's the intent? What is the intensity that you're bringing and putting into this thing? Because you can go and have an okay career, you can have a solid career, but if you really want to sustain it or push it to the max, it comes down to max effort, max intensity all the time, being relentless. And that's something you have to practice to build up for. I know you're in this after knowing you for 4 years now, and building this place. I remember when it was just the weight room and you're talking about all these things. Now it's come to life because you've had that relentless pursuit. There's countless examples of that. But those are the examples that you see, because those are the ones that are success. You don't see all the failures out there because 100%. There's way more of those. And so that's where it comes down to being in your values, core, pushing through where it didn't work out or you had to pivot. Unfortunately, the world is always trying to beat us down, so there's a lot more failures than successes. But we tend to compare ourselves to the people that have found success, which is rightfully so. What did they do? But a lot of the times it's just continue to go. How can I continue to push forward? And can you endure the journey of getting your ass beat by life over and over and over again? Because if you can, you're probably going to find a light at the end of that tunnel. If you can't, then it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, because I was getting beat up by business, and all of a sudden life just dropped like a tsunami bomb on me out of nowhere. And it's like, how many days do I have to feel sorry for myself?
Exactly.
Not very many.
Right.
And I think what the youth need to hear now is, we talk about a lot of hard work and how to get and how to advance in a career or whatever the case may be in your life, and they just don't understand that they can do a good job, but a good job is what you get hired for.
Correct.
A great and outstanding job, and continuing to go above and beyond every day. Not so that someone's watching, but so that you can prove to yourself that you're worth more and you're disciplined for more. That people notice. That's how you advance in your career. But it's like, oh, here's your job outline in these 8 sentences. This is what you're going to do every day. I promise you that you're going to enter this 6-month life cycle. Every 6 months, you'll be like, I need to look for a new job. I need to look for a new job.
Yeah.
I need to make more money. I need to do this. Just create it.
Yeah.
Because, as a business owner, I'm looking for people like that. And that's who I want to bring along in the journey, because I know that person has my mindset. And now they're a full part of the team. I never have to worry about them. And I hope they see me doing the same thing.
Right. It's interesting because I think there's paths and journeys. Obviously, there's countless types of opportunities in different scenarios. But I heard something interesting the other day. I'll kind of circle back to it, actually. I think you go on a journey where you have to build your capabilities, right? You have to build the capability to sustain, to be able to build, to be able to start your own thing. And you do that by going and practicing in jobs, in different, taking on different challenges, new opportunities that maybe you would have not said yes to, but just trying it, just to put yourself out there. Because if you push yourself on the edge of your comfort zone, then that's when you continue to expand what you have. You can talk to more examples that you've done in your life. You can have more just volume of reps that you've done that hopefully maybe there was some good that you found out of that. But there's also kind of a thing I heard the other day was the more you work for yourself and the more you continue to build on your own, the more unemployable you become. And it was interesting because I was like, that's so relatable, because I'm like, I want to build. It's like, if I couldn't imagine myself, besides in the NFL right now, like trying to work for another company right now, because I'm so hyper focused on building myself and my own journey. I thought that was super interesting, and you can get there. People can get there. You yourself, for example, you got there. I remember, right? You've done how much work for like the Raiders, how much work for different guys, across the league, where you're building your capabilities, and then it finally switched with you. You're like, I can do this my own. But you built your capabilities to be able to be confident in yourself. That now you're like, I don't need to work for somebody else. I can actually do it myself.
And here's why I became unemployable, is because my standard of care and discipline became higher than theirs. So it made them uncomfortable, honestly. It's like, hey, this is my standard, and I'm not willing to lower my standard especially when I take care of people. So if that bothers you, then maybe it's not going to work out. And that's what happened. So it's, and what does that do? It says, obviously, at the time it feels bad, but then you're like, obviously you're doing the right thing, so keep on grinding. Like if someone wants to get stuck in their ways for 15 to 20 years, that's why I hate when someone uses a length of time as an experience. Man, you get a killer that's 20 years old that just is so hungry that's been doing it since he was 10.
100%.
Selling lemonade on the side of the street. And I think that's so it's such an important mindset to be able to be exposed to.
Let me ask you this, because I'm curious, because I relate to it, and maybe I can answer as well, but I'm curious, where did the relentless pursuit from your journey come from? Like, where do you think that stemmed from?
So the first it came out of fear. And this is something I just recently discovered. So it came out of fear, and the only thing bad with that is now I'm straight missionary in a linear line that I don't realize anything else going on around me, and I was using fear instead of confidence in order to operate. And then, I've been doing a lot of self-work over the last, 3 years. A lot of life shit's happened to me. Now I realize that I am confident, I am capable, and I didn't have a purpose. So people would see this, like, oh, you have a purpose here. I didn't really understand what that purpose was to about 6 months ago. So now I'm going to align my purpose with my mission and my vision, and I feel like that's how you build a legacy brand. Here was the company, and I have 3 companies now. Now I'm putting my purpose behind the company, and it's going to be so much stronger because I couldn't see beyond the 4 walls here. One of the biggest things I want to do is start my nonprofit Beyond Born Again Strong Foundation. So anyone that's gone through a divorce, a veteran, post-traumatic stress syndrome, depression, thought about committing suicide. And these are all high-level people, man. We just didn't see them as high-level because you think that you got 6 Lamborghinis and a 20,000 square foot house and think that guy's okay upstairs. Or that woman, and they're not. So that type of platform is used for anyone. And a lot of my high net worth clients are always asking, hey, how can I help? How can I help? We're like, donate into that so we can help people that are less fortunate. Donate into that so I can create movements. And that to me was the purpose. And I didn't see that because I was operating out of fear. Single mom, no money, everyone telling me no. So I'm like, I was like, let me prove it to everyone else instead of proving it to myself. And the biggest mistake I did was put my backbone into someone else. And when that person's not there anymore, it was like devastating.
Yeah.
So now I realize that you got to take care of yourself first.
Correct.
Before you take care of anyone else. And for me, I was taking care of everyone else. So it was a tough learning lesson.
Yeah, you're talking about part of, the growing, the expanding, your capabilities. One of the capabilities, it doesn't maybe seem like an obvious one, is just to understand, kind of your scenario and have it take a step back, look at what I'm going through, look at where I've been, why am I the way I am, and there's a realization that comes from that, and you always continue to expand that. But the ability to understand and take a step back is very powerful, and it takes a while to get there because you're just going through the trash before you're like, okay, now I'm starting to see some clarity here. I'm starting to see the purpose. You talked about that. I can relate though when it comes to like, hey, how do you gain that relentless pursuit, that relentless mindset? Mine was, like I said, I came from a tough love environment growing up, and it was like, I have to get out of here type environment. So it was like a self-imposed pressure that I need to get myself to a better place where I can sustain myself, not have to worry about like the home taking care of me. Like that's not going to be there for me. And that was my mind. I'm going to go make this. I'm going to go build. I'm going to go do something on my own. So I put my own back against my own wall. My own hypothetical wall in my mind, and it was this or everything or nothing. It was I have to make this work, or there's nothing else. Kind of. So that's two different examples. I think that's great for whoever's listening. Is there's several motives out there, but you find something that is like a nonstop, non-negotiable. It might be fear. It might be the fear. I feel like the fear one is one that you almost can't necessarily control. That's something that was put on yourself, as opposed to like mine, where it was like, I have to. I put my own kind of fear, my own barrier up for my scenario.
And you told me a story when we were training like a year ago, and if you don't mind sharing it, it was okay. You went undrafted, and then remember you were running all the plays. You did this, and you're like, Coach, why am I not playing? And you said it was like this conundrum in your head, like why the fuck am I not on the field playing? Can you explain that? Because I feel like so you made it to the NFL.
Correct.
That's massive. But explain to them the difficulty now of actually playing in the NFL when you've made it to the NFL.
For sure. I think what a lot of people don't understand now, just because it's been so long, like year 9, people kind of forget you're upcoming. They just know like, oh, Austin scores touchdowns, he's efficient, catch the ball, all that stuff. But before I was actually on the team, and when I was fighting for my life, that's the first thing. Like I just talked about my back against the wall. I did it the same thing again. When I got into training camp, I was six on the depth chart. No 6-stringer makes it. And so in my head, I had already dropped out of, I didn't finish my last semester of college. I had already started this mindset of, I have to make this work, because this is the biggest opportunity I would probably have in my life. And so I am going to put every ounce of my energy into this because it deserves that, because of the magnitude of the life-changing opportunity that's in front of me. And so what I did was, in my mind, I treated it like a life or death situation. Like I have to do this or I will die. Like I was tapping into my just instinct to live. And when I say that, like I show up to training camp, I show up to OTAs, I'm running for my life out there. Like I'm not getting any reps. I'm 6th string. There's no, hey, 6th-string guys, you're up. No, there's 1st string, there's 2nd string, and there's scout team. So I'm on scout team. But when it's scout team and it's 100%, when I tell you I'm running for my life, I am sprinting. My body is on fire. You cannot stop me. You cannot touch me. If I have to block, you're not getting there. If I have to go make a tackle on punt, I was on punt scout team. And this is when I first got recognized. I was wearing number 3 at the time. Can't even wear number 3. It just gave me a trash number. But I'm playing in the middle on punt team. And I remember it's just full speed. It's in OTAs. Boom. They punt it. Again, like I said, run down. I'm running down. Boom. I'm there again. Go again. Scout team, you don't get a break. You run back. You do it again. Like 4, 5, 6 reps in a row. I'm sprinting untouched right next to the ball. And I remember my head coach at the time's like, hey, Coach Stu, who was our special teams coordinator, who's number 3? He didn't even know my name. Didn't even know my name. You don't know who the hell I am. He's like, yeah, that's Ekeler. He's been giving us a hell of a look. And I'd never played special teams in my life before. And kind of fast forward here, we get into our preseason games. I'm not getting a lot of reps. And this is what you were alluding to. I'm not getting any reps, and I'm stressed out of my mind. Like, imagine if you think, hey, this is everything, and I'm not getting a lot of reps on offense. I'm breaking down, crying on one-on-ones, like, bro, like, I'm doing everything right. What do I got to do? Like, I'm not getting a rep. I'm getting like 2 reps a day. Like I feel like I'm taking advantage. I'm overstudying. I know the playbook like the back of my hand. Like I've done everything I can to prep. What I didn't know was what I didn't know. I didn't know that there's a pecking order here. We got money invested in these guys. They have no money in me. There's no money invested in me. So they want to see where their money's at because they want to get a return on their investment as far as play. Me, they give me $5,000 signing bonus, So they're just like, whatever. Like, you just get whatever it's left over. I didn't understand at the time. I thought, like, hey, if you perform, you should, move up. But it wasn't like that. They're trying to develop guys and stuff like this. So we finally get to preseason games, and I'm running for my life. So I'm making people miss. I'm not doing anything over the top crazy that, we're coming off, but on special teams, I'm making tackles. And again, I'd never played special teams in my life. And when it came to cut day, I actually, it was like 1 o'clock. There had to be all the cuts in. It's like 12:30. I get a call from our player director. He's like, hey, man, if you haven't got a call by now, you probably made the team. And sure enough.
What did that feel like at that time?
It was a relief because it was like a whole buildup of stress. The most stressful part of my entire life was that training camp and that OTAs because I put so much stress and weight on my shoulders to make it work and not give myself a chance to not make it work. And when that finally happened, it was just like I broke down because I called my mom like, I made it, and I knew that was just the beginning though. Like I had just made it, but that was also the starting line, and so don't get me wrong. Like I ate that moment up. Like I still remember that moment. I still remember, where I was at looking for an apartment and stuff like that with my mother when she came out. But again, I was mainly a special teams guy my first year. And this is my favorite stat to this day because I think it shows kind of like where I was committed. Like I didn't get much offense, but I led the NFL in tackles on punt. And I had never played special teams in my life, but I still carried that same fire in my mind, like, you can't touch me. Like, I'm going to get this. And so literally had the most tackles on punt, never played punt in my life. But I was willing to adapt because of the circumstances that I put myself in to say, hey, this is the magnitude, you have to make this work. And I was able to get it done. And so that snowballed into offense. The first ever handoff they gave me was against the Eagles, week 3, ripper, 34-yard touchdown, my first ever regular season carry. And they're like, oh, maybe this guy can actually play. And sure enough, started getting into the offense. And then, by the next year, I was like splitting offense and defense. And then my third year was the year I popped off. And then they only put me on offense and then ended up starting for the next, 5-6 years.
I love that, man.
Yeah,
but you said something interesting. It's like, once you reach that goal, like you can't celebrate too much and you can't celebrate not enough. Like you have to prime your brain and move on to
100%.
To the next thing and kind of stay steadfast during all those times.
And it became my standard. Like you mentioned your standard. That's my standard. Now to this day still stays with me. Right? You're continuing to relentlessly
that's probably
put
why
yourself
I don't have
in
any
there.
friends.
Really? Well, it's tough because you're so.
They just think I'm an asshole, but I'm like, guys, I want more for you than
Right.
you want for you.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So you built multiple businesses: Fantasy Royale, Charity Draft, Ekeler Capital.
Yep.
How did you make the leap from NFL star to entrepreneur, and what skill set from football translated the most direct into your entrepreneur journey?
Yeah, I think, you hear in my story of just kind of my progression, that same mindset stayed with me on my entrepreneur side as far as learning. I just continued to learn. And first it was real estate. I thought I was going to get into oil and gas and then go into real estate. So that the real estate was already on my mind. I was already starting to learn about that. Now I actually had access to extra capital because the NFL pays way more than the oil and gas company pays at that time. And so now I'm actually putting this stuff to work. I'm like, okay, I know this. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna go find an opportunity, and I'm gonna try buying a duplex, starting some rentals. It was the same thing for this community as well, because I was starting to build a fan base. Right, I'm starting to build this fan base. So I'm like, that kind of looks like an opportunity. Like, what can I do with that? And so you mentioned Fantasy Royale. It's actually the newest one. I haven't really told you about, but it's free contest, like sports contest. So think of like March Madness, but for a brand. So like think of like, a Project Wellbeing March Madness tournament where you're getting like, hey, if you win, you get like a free year subscription type thing. So it's a way to promote the brand. And then also we're like the anti-gambling company, like stop wasting your money, come play for free for us for cool prizes. So I'm starting to see these opportunities kind of come to life, and I'm very like project oriented. I want to go build stuff. The NFL, I'm getting into, like I said, my third year about this time, and so it's starting to become a little bit more routine for me. And so I'm not getting the full mental kind of capacity overload that I have been getting in my first few years. So I'm looking for other places to put that energy. And real estate was one, so I started building a small portfolio out in Colorado. I actually reached out to a house flipper out there, and I said, hey, his name's Matt. I still work with him today. I said, Matt, if you ever flip any duplexes or multifamily, I would love to buy them from you. Give me a discount because I'll be a lock-in purchase for you. And so that's exactly how I got started. So I started doing things, right? I'm out, I'm educating myself, learning about this, and then I would do it. For my community, I started to stream. So I was streaming for about 2 years and built that up. I had like 300 consecutive people watching me. So it kind of built that up. And then I was like, okay, how can I help other people do this? I was like, I think there's other athletes, streamers. We can combine our communities and then stream together. So I started a thing called Gridiron Gaming Group. We're streaming together. I got burnt out of that one. Real estate's still going. Same guy with Matt. Continue just to build on these. Matt, we start our own fund together. We want to scale. So we started, our little flipping thing. That was fine. They were like, hey, let's scale. So we went and bought a mass foreclosure out in Kansas City, Missouri. Going back to the community side, I got burnt out of the Gridiron Gaming Group. Then I started getting to my app that I used to have, Experience, where it was like a community kind of building app. So both of these avenues continued to grow, and there's the kind of my pillars right now. It's been football, it's been real estate, and it's been community building, and I'm just continuing to push those to bigger scales.
No, and I think that's amazing because you never know what that what that leads to.
Right.
On all honesty, and then it's interesting. Like 2-3 months ago, I changed my whole friend circle. I just felt like, man, I had elevated in myself and I had gotten the most comfortable in the circle. So I just changed the whole circle, and now I'm sitting around guys that are doing 50 times more than me. I'm like, okay, I'm learning. I'm going to be a father in March. They have kids. I'm trying to understand. Okay, how do I balance owning 3 companies with being a father?
Congrats, man.
I'm actually Chat GPT. It's like you treat this as another company. You need a babysitter and this. I'm like, okay, so it's like, I'm like locked in. I'm like I'm typing and I got the baby. It's all good. But it was so important for me to do that because I had gotten comfortable again.
Yeah.
And this next level of people that I'm around, I won't even call them friends. It's just this energy of people that I'm around. It was what I was always looking for.
Yeah.
The ones that they don't need to pat you on the back, but they're going to be there for you, but they're definitely going to teach you, and it may not be things that you like to hear, but they're going to be there for you, and it's going to be some tough lessons to learn.
For sure.
And that's been really impactful in my life lately, and I'm glad that I did that.
Yeah, I think just speaking to the friend kind of thing, once like where you and I are at in our life, I think when you're in relentless pursuit and you have this like energy you surge yourself into, it's really hard to keep up like a traditional like looking friendship. And so what I learned, and I heard this, it was like when you're a hyper performer, your friends are people that you might not talk to for months, but that's okay because they're also doing the same thing and grinding and building. It's nothing personal. It's that they're working their ass off just like you are. And so when you guys cross paths, it's like you get to catch up. You get to share what you guys have learned. Or you get to share the new heights or the failures that you've gone through. And then you get to just pick up like where you left off because that energy is just so contagious. And then you're like, okay, cool. I might not see you for another few months, but guess what? I know we still got each other because we're in the same mindset of what 100%. We're trying to do and the levels we're trying to go.
Because they're like, oh, you've elevated. I've elevated.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually have like a really niche group of people that I want to introduce you to. Lots of them are very successful in real estate, shipping, entrepreneurship, and it's like now my mom's like, hey, I want to connect my guy with that guy, I want to connect my guy with that guy, and honestly, man, it's been incredible for business because like everyone's 7, 8, 9-figure income earner, so they have the funds necessary to do things, but they're not necessarily taking care of their body. And that becomes a priority. And then that got me into corporate performance, which is different than corporate health. My corporate performance is straight up performance. Give me all your C-suite executives.
Right.
Let's get to work.
Right.
Because I promise I won't pull 20% out of them.
Right. Right.
So fantasy football made you a household name.
Yes.
And you flip that into business with Fantasy Royale. How important is it for athletes to own their platform and brand instead of just being a product on the field?
Ooh, it's a touchy one. There's a balance. And, we talked about capabilities, we talked about learning, we talked about kind of relentless pursuit. It's important if it's important to that person. And the reason I say that is because some guys just want to play ball. They just want to play ball. And you can't take that from somebody. I will never say, you shouldn't just play ball, you should be more than that. I can't do that because life is too short to be like imposing, Yes, they could be taking more opportunity, but all of us could. We could always go and find more opportunities. So what I've noticed is even younger players come in and I'm like, hey man, like just start learning. Like start learning. Because if you at least do that, you'll learn hopefully what you like and what you don't like and what you might want to go into and what you might not to. Because especially as athletes, when you're younger, put all that stuff aside. You lock in to get yourself to stay. Then as you start to continue to learn how to be a pro, that's when doors probably start opening up for you to have the capability, because your capabilities have increased to be a pro. Now you can manage that. You put that in this box. At first, it's kind of all over the place. You're trying to gather it together. Okay, I can manage being a pro. That opens up opportunity now for me to start looking into, maybe I wanted to get into private equity. Maybe all these guys got a lot of capital, so there's a lot of hands that are trying to come out. Maybe I can start learning about some of these ventures that people are coming at to me with. So that's what I would say for these guys. It's important if you're in the right maturity and you have the right capabilities and you're understanding that you need to learn before you act. So I always tell, if you don't know, don't do it. Absolutely do not do it, because you might hear you need to do this, need to do that, but if you don't know, you're probably gonna get burned. And I think all of us get burned in this life. That's what life is hopefully getting burned, but hopefully not so bad that you can't recover.
Without the lesson, right? So it's gonna be there.
We're all getting burned. I got burned. I thought I was a day trader one month, and I learned that I can't do day trading. That's not for me. Stuff like that, just random stuff, investments that I was throwing money at when I got my first signing bonus. That I'm like, why did I do that? I didn't even know what due diligence meant at that time.
Yes.
So we all get burned, but hopefully it's nothing that's nothing that's non-recoverable. But learn, man. So that's my advice to the guys that are even thinking about trying to pursue other things, or maybe even not at the moment.
No, I think that's amazing. So charitydraft.com, that's a powerful concept. Uniting athletes to raise money for causes. Where did that vision come from, and what do you think athletes can do differently when it comes to giving back and creating that legacy impact?
Yeah. So I talk about athletes maybe not pursuing those opportunities, but some of us are. And so I'm like, as an athlete, sports betting, fantasy football is massive, but we don't touch it because we're so hyper-focused during those times where it's hot, because we're playing the game.
Yes.
That's what they're betting on. So how are we there's no way really for us to take advantage of this stuff. So I'm like, okay, what can I create, a platform that lives beside the NFL during the season that allows us to kind of chip into some of that, just hype. And so that's why I started Charity Draft. And what Charity Draft is I'll go reach out to players and say, hey, donate some game gear, some game jerseys, things that you can't really buy, some unique, cool stuff that you have. Let's put that up for a winner of a charity fantasy football league. And so people will buy into this charity fantasy football league. All the money goes to the foundation of your choice, but you can focus on ball. Give us the prizes. We'll reach out to you when we need them. And so we can carve out some value from this big community here and bring it to somewhere where you love. So that's why, we have 20 guys that we're doing it for this year. I've done this for my charity for the past 4 years, and now we're finally starting to expand it to other guys, and we've had a lot of success with it because it's unique. This is not something game jerseys aren't just all over the place. They're actually really hard to get.
Yes.
So things like that are just an opportunity for us to carve out some value from that. So those are the things that I'd look to do. I like to do community things because I think there's two main opportunities in the NFL, and I don't think players can really only take advantage of one unless you actually have a system, which is playing. Playing football is the obvious one, but the other one is what you just asked about is the opportunities outside, the community, the fandom, right? All of the other things, which is really hard to take advantage of, and there's no one really helping us. So I'm creating a platform to help players take advantage of that other side.
I think that's it's incredible, and a lot of the times some players don't know the actual reach and impact that they have. So when they, it's really why I started the podcast. I'm never going to make money. I don't even want to make $1 from this. And I don't have anyone pre-selected. So as my life goes every day, I ran into you. I'm like, hey, would you like to be a part? It's been organic every single time, but it's been consistent. I'm like, how am I able to do this? And it's just because I'm going about life. I'm like, hey, I think at this very moment, this message that's going to come from you is going to be able to help, a lot of people, and they might need to hear that, For instance, your positive attitude right now, we'll get to it in one of the questions here. So let's talk about the current chapter that you're in. You're facing a season-ending injury. Yeah. How are you approaching rehab physically? But more importantly, what has the mindset you've built to remain bulletproof facing this type of adversity?
Yeah, that's the main contributor to you continuing to move forward is your mindset. And I have embodied the forward-looking mindset. I am always forward-looking. It's not always positive. This is not a positive thing. I ended my senior. I would rather be out there in Virginia, practicing with the boys, making plays, being on the field. But it's not my situation right now. So I can't dwell, because that will take me away from the pursuit of new opportunities that I have. And so for me, again, it's forward looking. Okay, what can I do now? I can rehab this thing, and okay, now this opens up another opportunity for me to build on something else. I'm never going to stop building. Like, that is me. That's my relentless pursuit. I'm going to build, whether it's in football, whether it's in business. Right now, the opportunity for football got taken away from me because I stepped back weird and snapped my Achilles. Yeah, it's terrible, but I'm still moving forward. If whatever I'm able to, I'm moving forward. So that's where my mindset is. It's been kind of just my general mindset over time of just continuing to look at the next opportunity, look towards impacting the one that I'm in, so it hopefully leads to a better next one. Sometimes it get taken away. I'll give you an example. Like for me, going into college, I'm in high school. I'm balling out. I'm averaging 10 yards a carry, 4 or 5 touchdowns a game. I'm getting taken out second, third quarter because we're up 50-0. And so you would think that's pretty good, right? So I thought it was, at least. And not one Division I school came and talked to me. Not one. Why? I'm asking why. Maybe it's from a small town. Maybe I'm not that fast. People want to move me to corners. What I'm hearing, I'm like, I want to play running back. And so it was an opportunity that wasn't necessarily taken away from me, but it didn't cloud my judgment. I wondered, but I was still looking forward and still found an opportunity at my small school to go and play the running back. It's the same thing with this. Like, yeah, it sucks. I wish it didn't happen, but I still have to move forward with the same energy in maybe some other atmosphere. And luckily for myself, I have other avenues that I can do that.
Yeah, so I feel like you come in, you take care of your rehab, and then you have this time where most people will be feeling sorry for themselves, laid up in a bed, playing video games all day. But I feel like you'll make more progress this year, even not being on the field, than ever before, because you have that
100%.
mindset. So
100%.
when you're ready to go back, you'll probably be better than you were before, and your personal life is going to be all set up because you just plugged into that for all this time that you would never really have. And that, I feel like that's taking full advantage of an adversary situation.
Absolutely. How can I change this to a positive for myself? Well said.
So you've become a real estate investor through the Ekeler Capital, building and scaling rentals. How do you view real estate as a long-term wealth play? And what advice would you give younger athletes on diversifying their money early? Yeah,
it's again, coming back to this education thing. For me, real estate was one of the first kind of passions of the investment world. I saw it as an investment at the time. That's kind of what I wanted to have as my backbone of my portfolio. And so I started learning early about, just how to calculate a rent return, an ROI, how to calculate, different things like, appreciations and different spaces. Maybe it's residential, maybe it's commercial. And so I'm really immersing myself. YouTube University, help me out, on YouTube. I'm learning all this stuff. And then I start to go apply this. And as I'm applying it, you learn things that you can't really learn on a video. Like one time I had a tenant who was pissed off and took a shit on my floor.
Yeah, they don't
tell you about that. I'm like, oh well, I guess I gotta go clean that up now. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of unseen kind of things that you learn by actually doing this stuff. And so I'm getting more comfortable. I build up to 30 units in Colorado, and then I'm like, okay, I'm coming into more capital and I'm starting to get a return, and I'm balling up some money here with football and with these rentals that I have. And so it's like, okay, I'm playing the game. But again, what's next? It's that always looking forward. How can I scale this? So I go to Matt. I'm like, Matt, let's start. And I'll expedite this because I said, hey, yeah, we started our fund together. That was the Rosenbaum Fund. That was his last name. We took that. I went and raised money. That was my first time ever raising money. So I'm learning because I'm trying to scale. I'm put in situations where I have to actually contribute more to my team. So, okay, Austin, you have access to people with capital. Do they want to invest? Go find out. Go, recruit some, people if they want to get involved in this opportunity. It's like a unicorn deal. We got it for 65 cents on the dollar. So we wanted to use this as an opportunity to build a reputation and show we can make you money, because basically it was already locked in. We could have purchased it ourselves, but we used it as an opportunity to build. So hopefully we can get another one, which is the next kind of thing I started. But what is it important? It's 100% important once you understand. You have to learn first as an athlete, and there's anyone making money. You don't want to just throw your money around. I would say get an advisor first, to help you and maybe have, the structured, mutual funds, things like that. And then use that as kind of your team for finances until you start learning about other things, whether you want to get into, angel investing or venture capital or other types of alternative, cryptos and stuff like that. keep it with someone that knows what they're doing. Maybe pay 1% or whatever the fee is until you start to learn about other stuff. Then you can start deploying capital in there, but at least keep it safe with someone that you can trust and has a good name and you can be backed. So going back to my real estate, it just continued to blossom. So now we were in Missouri, now we're actually out in Alabama, and we're doing a new concept in Alabama where we're actually able to find killer deals. So there's 3 of us. It's like a 3-headed monster. We have a guy, his name's Ren. He is the most relentless person I've ever found that finds deals.
Is he the deal maker?
He is unbelievable. And if you can find someone like that, they are a gem. So we built a whole organization around him. Matt, the guy I'm working with, obviously he does the flipping. That's who I was buying. So he does construction and he does management. So he's going to go flip this. He's going to get renters in that, and he's going to have the management company manage it. And I come in with capital. Hey, we need this capital, and I'll go find lenders for ourselves.
Yes.
So now I've learned how to raise money. Now I've learned how to work with lenders and have relationships with lenders. And then I've also just kind of seen the process of real estate and kind of how it works on the residential side. So as I've continued to build, I've continued to expand my understanding and my capabilities. And it's just a snowball effect, as you can see. That was like kind of a layout of that. And it works in any industry or any direction you want to go.
Yeah, those 3 things is actually the only 3 things that make any type of business successful. You can take that and do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone that I want to introduce you to, Rich Robledo, he was just telling me that, being rich is loud and being wealthy is quiet. And that really got to me. And it explains you in a nutshell, because it's not like you live this whole lavish lifestyle. No. It's like, for me, I wear the same shit every day. I don't really care. But because in your mind, you already can see that. Like, these are the things that are important to me right now.
Exactly.
Then you can do whatever you want to do with money later. But it probably wouldn't be any different.
Exactly. For you and me, like, what is fulfilling? Our fulfillment is found in our pursuit of building and helping and making what we're doing impactful.
Yeah, I love buying stuff for my businesses, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And whether, like, you can always guarantee that something new's about to come in here. I'm out of room, but I'm about to find something new. But I'm always, just like you, I'm always looking, how can I make the experience for the customer, the patient, a little bit better without them having to ask for it?
Yeah.
And that's been something that I feel like it has carried me on my journey, is actually providing that client experience. Correct. And it's so important to me, because that's the only thing that someone's going to remember at the end of the day.
Correct. And that's what's rich to us, is that pursuance of making our thing effective for others, right?
Yes.
Like making this worth something, in fact, impacting people around us and the people that use it. Yeah. So I 100% agree.
It's because my love language is affirmation. Yeah. I don't need anything else. I don't need money, but if you tell me, hey man, that was a great job. Hey, I can tell the difference in my body. Like, oh, you changed my life. Like, correct. That's all that I care about, which is actually free. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's where I always thought, me and you are the same. But I'm just going out there trying to how can I get a little bit better today? I don't care about anything else.
Well, that's where everything else comes. Sure.
My mom gave me this cup. It's like 20 years old. It's like I don't. I don't care. Yeah. At the core of your story is the theme of betting on yourself. Create an impact, refusing to let circumstances define you. If you had one message for athletes, entrepreneurs, or anyone chasing their greatness, what's the one piece of advice you would leave them with?
The one piece of advice for athletes, people out there, is kind of the core of mine. Bet on yourself. But what does that mean? I think that means go try it. Go try it. Like, if you wanted the simple version, go try it. Get out there, go try it. Like, I'll give you an example. My little brother just finished college, and I'm throwing opportunities in front of him. Hey, try this, try this, try this. Go try stuff. Because if you sit and just keep learning and waiting, you're going to never have the experience of, okay, I felt something from that. Like, that felt good or that didn't feel good, because you're going to stay in your comfort zone of, I'm just learning, and you're never going to go see how it actually feels to actually go do that work or go through that grind. You got to go find the grind that you want to endure. Yes. It's going to be a grind no matter what, whether you don't do something or whether you do. And let me say, the one that you do something at least gives you more life substance, more fulfillment. There's a lot more in that. You get more control over time as you continue to go. So go try it. Go do it. Like, start small. Don't do something that's catastrophic, and always bet the house. If you're younger, you can probably get away with it a little bit more. If you're older, probably starting small, right? It might be volunteering. It might be working for free for somebody. That's kind of what I've done in the speaking world. I'll go on stage for free. Let me just get on stage. At this point now I can charge, but at first I want to get experience talking to people, and I want to go hear and feel that that energy. And for me, I'll probably wait on that. I did that for a couple years, and I was like,
think about what you said. You're an NFL star athlete that still had the mindset of, I think I can learn a little bit from this, so I'm willing to take my own time and donate it. Like I still do that to this day myself, because sometimes I'm getting access to people you would never have.
Correct.
So I'll show up at your business at 5 a.m. I don't care. You're giving me your time, and you're doing much better than me. So I'm about to learn something from you. I wish that everyone had that mindset, man. That is the limiting factor in today's society.
And that's my advice. Go do it, right? You're doing it. Go try it. Go give it. Go give some time for someone else, especially if they're giving you an opportunity, because you never know how far it's going to go. But you do know, if you never try, that it's not going to go anywhere.
Yes. Well, it'll probably go backwards, honestly. Yeah. For anyone listening, take this as fuel, whether you're an athlete, entrepreneur, or someone hungry to level up. Remember that resilience, discipline, and betting on yourself is the absolute real playbook. Austin, thank you so much for being on here, man. It means a lot to me.
Appreciate it, man. Anytime.
And I got like a little deja vu moment from when you had me on. That was the first podcast I ever did, actually.
Wow.
So that was unique. And I remember the story of me running to my bus with my food in my hand at 4:45 in the morning.
Every morning in the morning.
I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
You built out of it. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But thank
appreciate
you so much,
having
man.
me, man.
I really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.